ji. Namaskar. Sir, we have achieved soft landing on the moon. India is on the moon.
Successfully touched down on the lunar surface, and with it began the much awaited exploration of the south polar region of the moon. Just a few hours after the moon landing, the lander Vikram opened its side panel and the rover Pragyan rolled onto the surface of the moon. Over the next 14 days, both lander and the rover are going to conduct series of experiments with as many as 6 payloads on both of them. Now, this will help us understand the changing lunar atmosphere and the composition of the lunar soil. So, why is this important? This is important because in order to expand our scientific discoveries, we need to understand how the lunar atmosphere is changing with day and night. But this remarkable achievement is much more important because India is the first country to land on the south pole of the moon. Well, this gives us an opportunity to collect data which no other country has collected so far, especially at a time when countries across the world are racing to the moon and they are targeting the south pole region of the moon. If you remember, the US has announced its Artemis program and plans to put its astronaut on the moon once again, and they are also targeting the south pole of the moon. Well, Russia and China are also working together for a lunar exploration program. All these 3 countries plan to set up a lunar base on the south side of the moon, and this will help us to plan interplanetary exploration programs in the years to come. But apart from that, there is also a likelihood of mining of critical elements which are present in the lunar soil. There is evidence that the lunar soil has aluminium, magnesium and silica, which can help us in resource utilization for future exploration programs. But what is most important is the search for water. Now, if you remember, in the 1960s, when the Apollo expeditions were being carried out, they thought that the moon is essentially bone dry and there is no water on the moon. But the expeditions that followed gave us the evidence that there is indeed presence of water on the moon. In 2008, Chandrayaan 1 also gave that evidence, which was supported by NASA over the next few years. So, but what scientists do not know is that what form is the water present on the moon and in what quantity. They believe that the south polar region of the moon could give us more clues about the presence of water, because this region is essentially shadowed, because the sun usually hovers slightly above the horizon and is enough to keep the spacecraft functioning. But as soon as the lunar day ends, the temperatures can plummet down to minus 180 degrees Celsius. So that helps in substantiating the fact that the water could be present in the form of ice. Now, water in the presence or in the form of ice can help extract hydrogen and oxygen. Now, let's say if we put our astronauts back on the moon, they would need elements to sustain themselves. Hydrogen especially is important for the space programs because it acts as a fuel for the rockets. So, let's say a lunar base is set up and the countries plan further interplanetary programs to Mars and other planets. So, then these resources are going to be very crucial. So, this is what is making scientists plan lunar exploration programs which are essentially targeting the south pole of the moon. Apart from that, a successful demonstration of landing can help open several new opportunities for India, which is trying to be a cost-effective option and a go-to destination for these missions to put satellites into orbit. If you remember, Chandrayaan 4 is going to be a joint mission with Japan, and we're going to help that country to achieve a soft landing on the moon. Also, it's the time when so many private startups have come. Over the last 3 years, as many as 100 private startups have had been set up in the country. So this is a very crucial time, not only just to expand our space exploration programs, but also to promote this, to basically strengthen the space industry in India and across the world.